Hi, I'm Jonathan Graham. I'm the Managing Director of Inward Revenue Consulting. This is the second take of my video blog, which I have hoped I'd call A Pint with JG. The idea being is that every month I bring a new topic about the recruitment industry and about IT sales recruitment in particular to you, our viewers, via a different pub somewhere with a different ale. This week I am in the Midnight Bell, which is in Leeds. It is a beautiful pub, one that we tend to frequent rather regularly at Inward Revenue. I'm actually drinking a pint of Midnight Bell, which is awesome, to say the least. I could very comfortably rip into a large amount of that for the rest of the day, but unfortunately after I've done this I've got to go back to the office. So, topic for this first month of the video blog is free replacements. I'm getting a lot of clients talking to us about this at the moment, and bizarrely it seems to be a very popular topic, irrespective of the fact that we're in what is comfortably the most candidate-driven job market since records began. It's very popular, very relevant for both parties as an issue. And what I mean by that is, I think it has an enormous impact on candidates in the job market without the candidate really realising how dangerous that is as a situation for them when the client pushes the recruiter into organising that. So we have a few clients that we've agreed those terms with, and I have to say we do a lot of that, and the reason we agree a lot of those terms is because actually, let's say we're in a competitive client scenario, what we tend to find is that the other recruiters have very easily acquiesced to it without much of a fight, and therefore we have to too, otherwise we can't play. Simple enough. So how does it work? Well, what it typically means is if you're working, let's say you're a candidate, the recruiter that is sending you out to interviews would ordinarily have a sliding rebate scale, 100% in the first month, 50% in the second, 25% in the third as a reasonable example. What a free replacement basically means is if the candidate hasn't worked out after 4 months, the recruiter has to either give us his money back or just do the whole work again for free. We see it a lot with American clients, and well, you're probably asking, why do I care? And what I'm going to do in the next few minutes is really lift the lid on what really happens when a free replacement gets agreed. The first thing is, it sends a terrible message to us as a recruiter about the client's belief in their own value proposition as an organisation in the eyes of a prospective candidate. So I'm not talking about the value proposition here that a client would have as far as their customers are concerned. What I'm talking about is the value proposition that a client would have in terms of how appealing they are to a company. It usually says to us, this client has no confidence that the job that they're offering is any good, and they're nervous that the candidates will get there and rumble them. And so what they're effectively asking us as recruiters to do is to indemnify them against their shoddy value proposition. It also says that there's an element of churn and burn here. It usually says that those organisations are used to turning salespeople around pretty quickly, and they don't know if the candidate will enjoy working there. The other message that it often sends to us as recruiters is that they tend to hold salespeople in pretty low regard and as a disposable commodity. But finally, and most importantly, for me, it says that the client sucks at hiring people. They're crap at it. So the thing that really I find a lot of a challenge with this particular issue is there's a massive misperception of what we do as recruiters. A lot of clients think that we sell them a candidate, and we don't sell a candidate to a client. What we do sell is an introduction, and you know, unlike our clients who sell software or technology, if things aren't going right, we can't turn up on site and fix the kit or fix the software or send out a patch to all users. You know, we don't get to ring at the candidate and say, listen, I hear you haven't done enough cold calls this week, mate. Best you get on it before we end up having to give our money back. So there's an element of unfairness on us as the recruiter, but actually that's not my number one concern. My real concern is how it would initially affect any particular candidate looking for a job. The other thing that clients don't realise is that when you give a free replacement or when that clause is triggered in a contract, what usually happens is that the consultant in question is in a commission deficit. he's got to give his money back to the client, and in turn he's got to give his commission that's already been paid in 99.9% of recruitment companies. And I'm going to tell you a story, but the reality is I know several recruitment companies who make the consultants turn up on a Saturday morning to do their free replacement work. And if you could work out the average age of a typical recruitment consultant in the IT sector in sales, they're usually about 25. So if you want a 25-year-old after a hard Friday night, getting up out of bed and going into the office for a couple of hours to find you what in reality is one of the most mission critical hires you'll make next year, good luck with that. How motivated do you honestly think they are? Most of them would rather just give you the money back and go and find another client who's going to treat them with a little bit more respect. So you're probably sat there now saying, for God's sake, who is this guy? Stop whining. But what if actually it's not our fault? What if actually we didn't get it wrong? What if actually we got it bang right? What if actually, for example, the hiring manager leaves after a month, damn well knowing he was leaving anyway when he hired the candidate, and the candidate goes, well, this is no good, I'm out of here. All of a sudden we're giving you the money back? That's not fair. What if the candidate joins a company having left one company and the company he left takes over the other company? There's lots of reasons in which actually it's very punitive on the supplier that you're working with at a recruitment level, but genuinely, that really isn't the issue I'm trying to talk about here today. What I really want clients to understand is, how would they feel if we told candidates that the client had insisted on a free replacement? I wonder how many clients would allow us to ring our candidates up and say, listen, I've got a job for you here. Just so you know, the client's asked for 160 days free credit with us by the way of a free replacement. But more importantly, if they don't like the look of you in the first 4 months, they can fire you and we'll have to give them the money back, or just find them another candidate for free. I wonder how that would be perceived by a lot of candidates, how they'd feel about that before getting in the car and driving to an interview, in comparison to perhaps other clients who were more prepared to accept responsibility for the hire. Anyway, I'm moaning and I'm whinging, and I told you this was going to be my monthly rant, but I'm going to crack on with my pint here at the midnight bell and then go back to do a little bit of work later on. Thanks ever so much for listening. Not sure what I'll talk about next month, but this is going to be a monthly thing and it'll get better and better. Thank you. Bye-bye.